So I will be very clear on the test. This is SSA. Figure out how many solutions there are, like you won't miss it. If it's an SSA, and there are indeed two possible answers or solutions, okay, there's a lot of work waiting for you. Let's put it that way. So for example, you have this triangle. There's no diagram, so right away you're a bit cautious. Solve for side E. How many solutions are possible for side E? So let's do this. This is SSA, right? We've got our pair plus a side. That's SSA. And it's acute as well. So I'm going to do the whole justification part right now. We're not going to use up too much space because we're going to need the bottom to do the work. So we put the 27 here. The 25 miles go here. The 30 miles, we're going to force that to be over here. And then we're going to look at rod and string. We know that string is less than the rod, so we have to find, we kind of compare this string and the height. So let's find the height, 30 times sine of 27. And that is 13.62 miles. So we know that the string is longer than the height, therefore, two solutions. Two solutions, okay? And here they are. So you got to imagine this is swinging, it's going to hit there, and it's also going to hit there, right? Like it's going to hit it twice. So we've got solution number one. I always start with the one that's on the outside here, the big one. And solution number two, it's the one where that string swings in. I'm going to give that a color because the string is what we want to focus on, right? Now, what angle is this? If I make this 27, this is angle what? Angle D, correct? Which means this is side D, that's 25 miles. And I'm going to make this my 30-mile side. And what side is 30 miles? What letter is given to it? F. So that means that this should be angle F over here, correct? And what's the other letter for this corner here? E. There we go. So that's what kind of guides me. I kind of start where I left off when I did the justification. I keep the numbers where they are, and then that's going to guide me to put in the letters that remain. Now, this triangle over here, same thing. D, E, F. This is 30 miles. This is 25 miles. So we're making copies. The sides that are given do not change. So does the angle doesn't change either. It's 27. Copy that all down just like this. And we have a bit of a problem. Like, which E are we talking about? So to distinguish, we're going to call this E1, F1, and this is going to be E2, F2. Okay? So then we have a distinction being made. So when this question says solve for side E, we're talking lowercase e1, like it's asking what is this going to be? Or what is this going to be? This is lowercase e2. So that's what the question is asking us for. So I'm just going to tell you, always start with this one, okay? So I'm going to make a note, start here, morning, page 111. And keep these separate, okay? I'm actually going to split this already. Not all the way, but just like that. We're going to do some work here and then some work there. So we've got a pair, correct, guys? So we're going to start with sine law. Sine of 27 over 25. What goes on the other side? What's the only thing that I can do at this point? If I have the 30 miles here, the only thing I can do is solve for f, right? So we're going to go sine of f1 over 30 miles. And let's solve. Sine of f1 is 30 miles times sine of 27 over 25. We're going to get a decimal for it. We get 0.54. Write this down. So angle F1 is going to be sine inverse of that. And I'm just going to put it right beside it to save some space. I get 33.01 degrees. Okay, so we've got that. Now that I have this F1, I can solve for angle E1, right?
Goodmanson to room 60, please. Unity Goodmanson, return to your class room 60.
We go 180 minus 27 minus 33. Like we're just going to subtract the angles we have. That's E1. Oops. That's 119.99. So you found F1, E1. Now we can solve for side E1, correct? Because now that you have the 119, I'm going to highlight that maybe and say I have this now. And maybe I will use a red pen there to help me out so that you can clearly see that I solved for it here. 119.99 degrees. Now we can solve for E1 however you want. You want to use sine law? You want to use cosine law? It's up to you. I'm going to use cosine law just to review it, okay, guys? So do you see up here, side, angle, side? Right up here, side, angle, side. So I'm going to use cosine law to solve for E1. So here it is. E1 squared is 30 miles squared plus 25 squared minus 2 times 30 times 25 times cosine of 119.99. There it is, right? Oops. And then you go E1 is just the root of all of that. So I'll just show you 30 squared. You get that? 2274.77 something. E1, if you take the root, is 47.69. That is one possible solution for E. Okay? One possible solution for E. But we know that it could be shorter as well, right? Because of this, the second triangle. So let's go to that second triangle. Watch this. This is going to be interesting. This is going to save you a lot of time. We don't have to redo all of this. Okay? Watch this. If you go sine of 27 over 25, like if we have our pair, then it's sine of f2 over 30. Do you see something interesting about these two setups? Left and right, isn't it exactly the same? This is exactly the same. If you think about it, 27, 25, 30, 27, 25, 30, it's exactly the same. So what do you think we're going to get when we do this math? What do you think we're going to get? 33.01 again. But we know it's not 33.01, right? What kind of angle is this? Obtuse. Do you see that? Right? It's going to give us this one, but we want that one. Okay, we want the obtuse angle. So let's just solve for here. I'm just going to show you this. Sine of f2 is 30 times sine of 27. I'm still going to do this one time. It's exactly the same, 0.5447 something. Angle f2 is sine inverse of 0.5447, which is 33.01 degrees. Make sure you copy that down because I want to make my point with this next line. Can't be true since it is obtuse. So what is it going to be? What do we know about those two angles are supplementary, correct? Yes, so angle F2 is 180 minus, watch this, I'm going to go minus angle F1. So I'm basically going to take whatever I got for this angle and just subtract it from 180. That's 146.99. If you have colors, I'm just going to show you right here that this is what I subtracted here. Okay, I take this, I subtract it, and that's how I get F2. Okay, so moving forward, I will actually box this in. You should too. Omit this step. Okay, you shouldn't be doing this again because you're going to get the same answer as with our first triangle, but rather just go right away, go 180 minus what you got here, and that gives you this angle, which is 146.99. Is that? You're going to have to try it. There's no way around it. But as soon as you find this, listen to this part, guys. As soon as you find this angle here, if you want this one, just subtract what you found here from 180, and boom, you've got this angle here. Okay? So that's how they are related. It saves you a lot of work. Okay? So now we know this is 146.99. Now E2 is just going to be found by using the sum of triangle. Okay? So let's do that one. Angle E2, 180 minus 146.99 minus the one I was given right from the get-go, which is 27 degrees. So let's do that. When you do the math, you get a small angle, 6.01 degrees. $6.01. So if you want to follow with me, I'm going to label this one way up here in red pen. This is 6.01. Now I have SAS up there to be able to solve this. You could have used sine law, it's up to you. I really don't care what you use to solve for either. So here, E2 squared is going to be 30 squared plus 25 squared minus 2 times 30 times 25 times cosine of 6.01. E2, if you crunch these numbers and you get them under the root, you get 33.24 something. E2 is therefore 5.77 miles. So, therefore, E can be 5.77 miles or 47.69 miles. That's basically what you figured out, that it could be this or that. Question, what could angle F, if it asked you for angle F only? What would your answer be? 33.01 or 146.99? If it asks you for angle E, let's say, angle E could be 119.99 or it could be 6.01. But it made me go through the whole thing to actually figure out side E, right? So that's what I end up answering with. Okay, I'm going to ask you to go to 112. Try this. I have the answers there. I'm going to leave this up. If you need to look this up and copy it or take pictures. But side 112 has the answers up there. And as you're working through this, I'm going to hand back your quizzes so you can look at that as well. So for page 112, I realize it's SSA. String is shorter than rod, right? Find the height, string is longer than the height, so that's the classic two-solution scenario. I would always encourage you to start with this one, don't start with that one. And the reason being is that the angle you're going to get for Z is going to be acute, right? So you're actually finding this one first. And then I use that. Once I found Z1, I actually go over here and say, hey, this angle Z, which I call Z2, is just 180 minus the Z1 that I found. Okay, so that's the key here. These are connected in that manner. So Z1 and Z2 should always add up to 180. They're supplementary. Let's go back to this side. I find X1, I find that angle up here. And then plug it into cosine law, use cosine law. You may use sine law if you want. It's up to you how you want to solve it. And you get 13.91. Then I jump over to this side again. I find X2, right, the top angle here. I plug that into my cosine law. I crunch the numbers, I solve. So when it comes to using sine law, cosine law, there should be nothing new. I think it's just, how do I systematically approach this? That is the question, okay? And again, I'm not always going to ask you to do the whole shebang, right, where you do all of it. It might have stopped and asking you, what is the measure of angle Z? Then you would have just have to tell me it's this or that, right? Or I may have asked you to stop at angle X. There's two answers for X, right? And so everything has two answers. That's the point here that I'm trying to make. Except for these three numbers that you're provided with, they do not change. They are fixed. Okay? So try 112. For you to, I'm going to give you an